and welcome to episode 28 of the Sheep and Cheerful podcast. A podcast all about my attempts to live as creative a life as possible in as cheerful a way as possible, which is quite easy at the moment, isn't it? Because it's Christmas season. So my name is Nicky. I am your hostess and CEO of all things Sheep and Cheerful. And I'm coming to you from my home in the south of the UK on a very overcast day. So I have the overhead light on. So again, apologise if it's a bit weird in this kind of area here. Actually, it's weird in this kind of but you know, needs must and all of that. I live, in the south coast, with my husband, our two dogs, Honey and Henry, and my daughter Hannah, and my son who is away at university at the moment. So that's us basically. It is today, as I record, the 2nd of December. Wow. I've got the date right, you say to yourself. How could you possibly have got the date right? I'll tell you why I've got the date right. Because it is Hannah's birthday today. So, Hannah, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Hannah, happy birthday to you. Hip hip, hooray, hip hip, hooray, hip hip, hooray. There you go. So, it's Hannah's birthday, and you know what? She's 24 years old. Those of you with older children will know what that feels like. And just to thoroughly not embarrass her, because we don't really do embarrassing. Our family doesn't embarrass. Well, Hannah and I don't embarrass very easily. Anyway, the boys are a little bit more shy about things. But I wanted to share with you a Christmas picture of my two babies taken in 2004. Look, oh no, there's a whole load of glare. Where's that glare coming from? There you go. Look, they're in Father Christmas. Oh, it's glare again. I think it's reflection off of the thing, isn't it? So this was the one time when I took them up to Harrods to see Father Christmas. They weren't overly impressed. You can probably tell by that picture. I think body language is like that. Anyway, so that's my Hannah and my Jonah. So yeah, Hannah is 24. So today's episode is a little bit different because I'm having to do it by the seat of my pants because I've got so much going on today. I'm later recording. Sorry, something just fell over on my desk. I'm later recording this than I normally would be in the day. It's nearly lunchtime, but we've just done a little bit of a present thing with Han because she didn't get up till late. I've got grandparents coming round to visit in the garden this afternoon, and Gary's had to go out for a blood test and he's back. So it's all go. So I've literally just grabbed all my stuff and we'll do what we can this week and see how we get on, basically. I should say that you can find me on Instagram if you don't know already. I am Clara Peggotty on Instagram, and I'm on Ravelry as NickyWinterton. There was something else. What was I going to say? We have a Ravelry group, a fantastic Ravelry group. If you would like to join in, we've got a few things. We've got a few chatter threads going on. We've got a couple of make-alongs, which I'll talk about shortly. And hop over and introduce yourself in the group. That's wonderful. And as far as the podcast goes, if you're a new viewer today, welcome. It's lovely to have you here. It is going to be slightly more chaotic today than normal, simply because of the events I have hitherto described. But it's lovely to have you join us. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's lovely that you've come back. I really appreciate it, and all the comments and the messages I get for this, because you do think sometimes, really, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And then you get a message saying that it's cheery and people like it, and you think, yeah, that's why I do it. So, honey, She's sitting on the chair looking very po-faced. That's my female Springer Spaniel, and Henry, good old Henry, is down here. And what I was going to say was, if you are on Instagram, you will notice that Honey and Henry have decided to do their version of Vlogmas, which they're actually calling Dogmas. So, oh, now he's going to walk around. So Honey and Henry will be doing Dogmas on, they're taking over my Instagram story each day and doing a little Dogmas photo. They're not videoing because they have trouble holding the phone and pressing down with their paws while they video, so it's just a quick photograph. So if you want to follow along, Honey and Henry, I think if you follow the hashtag Dogmas, I'm not sure to be honest because it's on the stories, but oh, Henry's got down on his bed, totally unimpressed there. Anyhow, that's that. So I will be announcing the winners this week of the Come Little Leaves giveaway we're doing. That's been running in the YouTube channel here. So the last 2 weeks I've said if you would like a free copy of this wonderful pattern from Alice Jeffries, who is Homebody Diaries on Instagram. She's very kindly given us 2 copies, or she will be sending 2 copies to 2 lucky winners from the draw. So I'm going to be drawing for that a little bit later. I'll put a bit up at the end for that, and then Alice will get in touch with you and arrange to send you a copy of the pattern, either via Ravelry or directly via email, I would imagine, if you're not on Ravelry. So that's that. And we have, of course, the Christmas Carol read-along going on, which kicked off last week. So many people are joining in. It's so exciting. It's just so... Sorry, Henry's decided to wash now. It's so encouraging and lovely to see the messages I've been getting, and for people to be tagging me in there, showing their book. Please keep doing that. I will talk again more about that a little bit later because I have a whole separate few bits to chat to you about that. First off, let's get on to some knitting and some making, shall we? And I have a finished object. So I was just thinking no I haven't, I thought I'd left something in the other room. Right, I have one FO this week. Hang on. I'm a bit tangled, and if you follow me on Instagram you would have seen this already, but no apologies because not everybody is on Instagram. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Da, 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 da. Oh no, it should really be a Christmas lights one, shouldn't it? That one. Look at that, these are my vintage Christmas lights that I have crocheted. Oh, that chair is really squeaky, isn't it? I must deal with that. So I did 10 in the end because, you know, by that time I was chewing my knuckles off really. It wasn't quite so much fun doing 10. It was fine the beginning bit, but at the end where you have to stuff it and then crochet down to the point, it was a bit fiddly diddly. Can you see those all right? I'm sure you can. Oh, I haven't said what I'm wearing. I'll do that in a minute as well, because probably those on the background. But I think they're so effective. Let me find a good one. Find a good one and hold it up close to the camera. So, there you go. Is that blown out? So you've got, yeah, all the metal bit, the grey, and then the different colours. They're not uniform, let's just say that. But then, you know, what is uniform in this world? And, you know, that's a rhetorical question. I don't want an answer to that. So that one. So I used Scapier's cotton 8 for these, which is one of the cottons I've been trying out for my woven tea towels. So I thought since I had a bag full, I would try it. It's 4-ply, so fingering weight yarn. And it's great. They're so effective. So these are going to hang over the inside of our front door because I think that will look really, really good. The pattern is by the Mayfield Makery. I put the details, I think, at the bottom of last week's podcast, but I'll put them down there as well. And it's available on Etsy for a couple of £, I think. It's not a terrifically expensive pattern. Actually, you could just kind of just hang them like that, couldn't you? That looks, hang on. That looks quite effective, doesn't it? Except the colours are all together. Anyway, that's my one main finished object, although you could say that's 10 plus the cable, 11 finished. They will be hung up this week, so really pleased with that. And so far as Christmas crafting goes, I have drawn the line. I have drawn the line. So they will count, actually, although I wasn't intending to make them at the beginning, they will count as my final object in our Christmas bauble along, which is another thing going on in our Ravelry group. And I said last week, didn't I, that we've got a fabulous prize that Stevie from the Curated Yarn Company has donated. So that is running until the 12th of December. So if you are creating any Christmas baubles or decorations about this size, so although these have all come together, they're all small items. So I've done, if you remember, I did a bauble in self-striping yarn and I did a mini sweater, both of which are on our Christmas tree now. So that's my 3 items. I try and knit 3. I aim to knit 3 each year. That's a lie. I don't aim to knit 3 each year. I aim to knit some each year, even if it's only 1. And this year I decided I would knit 3. So I started in September. So I have plenty of time, and I've done 1 a month, and well, 1 a month then plus the lights. So if you are knitting Christmas ornaments, either they're, you know, little ones that hang somehow or that sit on the tree, then do go along to our Ravelry group and enter your picture, and you'll be in for a chance to win a fabulous yarny prize. So that's that FO. That actually, in terms of that, is all I have got to show you FO wise, but I have some whips which I will show you. I've made a lot of progress on my Wherefore Art Thou pullover, which is that one. I've talked about it before, patterned by Norah Gaughan for Purl Soho. This is in what is it in? Malabrigo Washted. Now, I've cast off the body, almost. There you go. I just love that. Oh, I see, it's got a bit of a line, hasn't it? I hadn't noticed that before, but I don't think you notice it when I wear it. I have a bit of an issue with this because I knit it to the length that the pattern said. Actually, you can really see I've alternated skeins on this, as you do, but obviously I've introduced a new skein down here, and you can really see the difference in this light. When you're wearing it here, you don't, you know, you wouldn't really notice it, but anyway, doesn't matter, not worried about that. Yeah, so I did it, and then I started the rib, and I was chuntering away at the rib thinking, yeah, I'll get this done, and I might even get a sleeve done before the podcast, and I can say, look, aren't I great? Talk about knitterly pride cometh before a fall. Well, I tried this on, and again, I really should try it on before I start the rib, but I'm lazy and I didn't, because I would have had to put extra cabling in. And it was too short. I think it's just about an inch or two too short for what I want it to be. That said, I carried on knitting anyway, because I'm lazy, and I didn't want to think about it. And I thought that it would magically just cure itself. I also thought I could do a deep rib, because I do like a deep rib. I have an hourglass figure, so I'm large, not so large in the middle, large. So having something that comes in at the waist, like a deep rib, is really flattering for me, I've learned over the last couple of years. and I also thought, to be honest, I tried on at Unravel way back. Do you remember yarn shows when we used to be able to go to things? I went to the pom-pom stand and they had some sweaters there, some sample knits, and it's obviously very in to have a cropped sweater and then big bishop sleeves at the moment. And I tried one on thinking I would look like the Michelin Man, and actually it was really flattering. So I'm thinking with this, you see, because these sleeves are so big, it might be better to keep the sweater a little bit shorter. So I'm in an R-ring. I'm actually, your eyes aren't going funny, I'm going backwards. And because I was going to stand up, I do that. So it comes to, it's not that much shorter, I suppose. Oh, it is than my cardigan. I really don't know. So what I've done, I had a bit, whoa, hang on. I had a bit of a brainwave, and I thought I'll put it on waist yarn. I won't do any more rib. I'll put it on waist yarn. I'll cast on the arms. I'll do the arms, the sleeves, try it on and make a decision then. Bish, bash, bosh. So that's what I'm going to do. So, and also, I'm also aware that it's quite heavy. It's worsted weight yarn. It's superwash yarn. So it is going to drop. It is going to stretch. So at the moment, I'm kind of 75-25 leaving it shorter, but we'll see. Anyway, just to show I haven't been twiddling my thumbs. I still really want to cast on my other cardigan at Christmas as my Christmas cast on. But we'll see. It might have to be a New Year cast on because I've got a few other things on the go now, which I will share with you in just a moment. So that's my my Wherefore Art Thou sweater. Now it's not yet. I was going to say it's our anniversary of when we went to New York City, but it's still a couple of weeks to go for that. Right. Oh, the other thing. Okay. So I'm going to put the project bag in there. Okay. So the next item. Do you remember last week I showed you and raved about my self-striping sock yarn, Grandma's Christmas Lights, which, look at this, so that's not perfect. Couldn't have planned that better really. So I was knitting a pair of self-striping socks with this awesomely, brilliantly wonderful colourway from Helen at Giddy Yarns, which you'll remember I went on and on about last week because it's awesome. And I had got the leg of one sock done, and I was pontificating as to whether to go down and do the foot or cast on the second sock. So this was the first one, and we now have 2 legs. I've got 2 legs. Perfect. Oh, I just love these. And look at that. Talk about matchy. Aren't they amazing? So, yeah, as you can see, I opted to do a leg and a leg. So I need now to put the heelers in of each. I will aim to do that this week, I think. Although I'm getting a bit busy, which I will tell you about in a mo. But, and then I can just, it's just, you know, easy knitting down the foot of each, isn't it? Can't knit them 2 at a time because I've only got 1 skein of yarn. Oh, I think I'm going to sneeze. I do hope I don't. That would be very awkward. No, I think we're okay. So yeah, I managed to get 2 legs done. Actually, I finished this second leg, whilst we sat and watched Nativity last night, the film with Martin Freeman. And Pam Ferris, and it's just such a good film. It's one of Hannah's favourite, and she wanted to watch it last night because we had a birthday takeaway last night for her because she can't have it tonight. Bless her, she's got a German class tonight, a Zoom one from university, and So we sat and watched Nativity last night, which was lovely. And I finished sock number 2. Leg, sorry. Not sock, leg number 2. So yeah, super happy with those. I think they will be finished in time for Christmas. And you'd think that would be easy, but when I tell you my other plans, then, you know, you'll see that it's quite a few things going on. So that was that. So, I did cast on a new project last week as well, and do you know what, I don't know what I've done with the book. This is a pattern from Interpretations, the new Interpretations. Do you remember? Open my project bag. I've pulled it too tight. Gosh. There you go. Sorry about that. Technical hitch. I'm going to just show you this. I haven't got the book. I haven't got the pattern book with me. It's from the new Interpretations book. And this is a hat by Veera Valimaki. And I think I mentioned last week I had the real urge to cast on a hat. I'm looking around to see, hoping that, no, I don't know where the pattern book is. I should go and get it really, shouldn't I? I found it! Went and looked all around the kitchen, couldn't find it, and it's over there by the window. I'll tell you another story about me losing stuff in a minute. Is my camera wonky now? Oh, for goodness sake. Right, Interpretations, Volume 7. So you'll remember I got this last week. Well, if you watched last week, you'll remember. You might have watched and you can't remember. Who knows if you're anything like me. Oh dear. I decided to cast on the Sienna Beanie by Veera Valimaki. So there you go. It's got bobbles and cables, no less. There she is. So, yeah, I just saw it and I thought, as you remember, I bought this to make the shawl from it, which I will be making, but I really wanted to knit a hat, so I thought I'll do this. And I had some very special skeins of yarn in my stash, which I have over here, which ironically have appeared after a little break on Instagram again. I had some skeins of Muka yarn. Okay, and that's the skein. Can you see that now? I don't know if you can see that. It is really, really rustic, authentic Romanian wool. Now, Iona, who runs Muka Yarns, who, now how do I know, kind of don't know her, but my friend Christine, who runs Rowick Wool, Rowick Yarn, knew Iona, who's Romanian, and they have a farm, and they were, you know, starting to spin yarn from their sheep. I'm not saying this very well at all. Right. They're processed in Romania with love and care for the environment, sheep and wool. And the idea is that this was produced and spun as heritage wool would have been, you know, their grandmothers would have made the yarn. So it is hand spun, and it literally is from the sheep's back to my hand, you know. And it's Tigay wool, 100% half bred Tigay wool. I'm not really sure. Can you read that? I don't know if that's focusing. There you go. Oh, spun by traditional Romanian fibre mills. Anyway, sorry, I got drifted off then, as I do frequently. I had 3 skeins of this because back in the day I knit a sample hat for Christine for her shop, and it was in the Muka yarns, and so she gave me the yarn back as a replacement. And it's kind of a sport weight. It's not consistent. If you go to the Muka Yarns website, it's really interesting. It's not consistent. It's a little bit thin in places, a little bit thicker. They don't actually give you a yardage on here either, which I was finding very frustrating, but I'm kind of embracing it. It's 50 grams and that's it. You get 50 grams. They don't tell yardage because all the skeins will be ever so slightly different. So I had 3 of these, so I weighed them and did the maths and worked out I think I will have enough to make the hat that I wanted to make, and I thought it would be perfect for that. So anyway, that's a long story, wasn't it? I cast on. This is as far as I've got, and I will tell you why. So after all that waffle, this is as far as I've got. And it's not even a complete brim. It's a folded brim, so I need to do 5 inches of this. It's not an enjoyable knit at the moment, I have to say. There are, I think, as many stitches on this as there were on my Malabrigo sweater, because it's in worsted weight, but you know, there are something like 170 stitches. But it's fine. Oh, incidentally, my needle cozy. Do you like that? That's from Rachel. So Remy. However, what I did do, the reason it's perhaps a little bit more hard work than I thought was because I had to do a tubular cast on. And I have never done a tubular cast on before. So I thought, right, I'm going to learn how to do it. I would have said on this podcast, I'm sure, that I really can't be doing with provisional cast-ons because with the crochet hook and, you know, I'm all over the place. I'm not quick at all at that. And I'm all fingers and thumbs, so it's not even about speed, it's about whether I enjoy it. And of course, a tubular cast-on requires you to cast on using a crochet hook. It was a faff. There were a couple of attempts, I have to tell you. That said, I did it, and actually it's such a cool cast on. It's so stretchy. If I do that, can you see how stretchy the cast on edge is? It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing, and it looks really nice. If you can see, if I put that there, up here, look up here. It's got like this, there's no sort of raw edge, it's like a rolled over edge. That's because it is rolled. The only thing you'll see this sort of pretty effect around at the bottom here. Can you see this sort of pretty effect here? It's like almost like crenellations. That's really lovely, and that is completely wrong. It's completely wrong. The tutorial I followed on YouTube was for a 2x2 rib cast on, and it was only after I'd cast on and did the first row that I looked at the pattern, and it was a 1x1. So I changed. I'd only done 1 row. I thought it's fine, but I actually think it looks quite effective. Oh, you can't really see, can you now? Oh, if I put my fingers behind it, I think that's fine. And here, you'll see here actually, that's what I keep looking at, I'm hesitating. When I talked about the unevenness of the yarn, you'll see that because of the unevenness, oh, let's put a little, if I put that behind it, oh no, that's no good, a drop in. Anyway, there is a hole. There's kind of a gap, or a bigger gap, it's not a hole. Hang on. There, that's it. I can't do it, mummy. There, can you see that gap? It's not a dropped stitch, it's just where a bit of thinner yarn has gone, is there. And that, of course, will relax out in blocking. That won't be visible once I block this and given the yarn a lovely soak, and it's relaxed and all the little fibres are going, yay, we're all relaxed, it's all fine. And it'll be wonderful. That said, the rounds are quite hard work because it's quite a small needle for a sport weight hat. I'm going to persevere, but it's probably not going to be done this side of Christmas because I have other things I want to work on. But anyway, blimey, that's 10 minutes of your life you won't get back again. That's the Sienna Beanie by Veera Valimaki, and it does call for sport weight yarn in case anyone's interested. Oh dear, right, that is that. Oh, now there's the doorbell, and I don't know if anybody's going to answer. I'm going to go and check that out. Back in a sec. Okay, sorry about that, but as you know, it's Christmas and there's deliveries and things. They do leave them on the doorstep, but Gary gets stressed if we leave stuff on the doorstep. Good job he's not here, usually. Right, now the main... what was I going to do? There's two big things. I've got this whole thing. I was planning to go through my socks of the year with you today, and I got them out. I think I've mentioned before, I don't know if I have, but as I knit my socks throughout the year, I tuck them away into a little box in my room here, and then at the end of each year I pull them out and think, oh look, I've got that and that and that, and I forget, basically. No surprise there. I forget what I've knitted. So I thought today it would be good fun, being the beginning of December, to actually get them out and have a quick look through. Some are more recent, some aren't. Some I had forgotten about. The only thing is I haven't had a chance to check out and remember all the patterns. Well, not all the patterns, there's only a couple of pattern ones. So I think we're okay. So I am going to whiz through my socks of the year and a pair of gloves too, because they're in with the socks. And I do think I'm on the wonk. Am I on the wonk? Anyway, apologise for that. So first pair of socks, and actually these will be quite familiar because I knit my bauble and my little Christmas sweater out of these. Ta-da! I'm not going to put these on sock blockers, I don't think, really. So these are my self-striping. They were the ones I knit when I went to America last December, and I finished them in January, as you would. And this is Mr. B's yarn, and it is I'm the Gingerbread Man, and it turned out, it's not self-striping, but it has turned out with all these lovely micro stripes. There you go. And what I did, I kind of whipped an idea from Jules, So Sweet Violet. Hello, Jules. And I just put a row of garter stitch, column of garter stitch down each side. Otherwise it's a vanilla sock. So I've got that both sides and down the foot. So that was pair number one. This was from a mini, I think it might have been from Debbie down Sheepy Lane, I'm not sure. I don't think the mini came with the yarn. I love these, so these are in time for me to put on this December, which will be great. Then, do you remember the Cup of Tea Mittens? Oh dear. And I know these aren't socks, but they look similar to socks, so. And those of you who followed my vlog, my sustainable-ish vlog, will remember these. They are absolutely fabulous. I adore these. I'd totally forgotten about them, to be honest. This is Martin's Lab yarn, and this is the My Cup of Tea pattern, which is a free pattern on Ravelry or possibly on the blog, but and I made these, and remember I made this rib deeper so that my fingers would stay warmer. And then as I was finishing them off, I spilt tea on them. Oh, excuse me. There you go. My Cup of Tea Mittens with my cup of tea spilt on. Anyway, that was knit number two. These are, oh, they're so soft. And these all smell lovely because I had a cheeky bar of Tuft Woolens that I used, and it's lasted me all year. because I've been very prudent with it. Right, next pair we have, now I believe these are called the Juniper Socks, I'm pretty sure. So this was my first ever pair of DK socks, and I cast these on last December, and they were the pattern by Helen Stewart from last year's knit vent, I think. Show you the stitch pattern on those, and the yarn, so lovely. And the yarn, look at those colours, is this gorgeous fawn colour. And it's Tea with Tumnus colourway, one of the Narnia colourways from Dear Emily in the States. Yarnberry is her yarn dyeing business. It's so beautiful. It's such a restful colour. It really is a peaceful colour. I really, really love it. And she sent it to me. I didn't choose this one. She sent it to me randomly as part of a little package she sent. And it's just, it just makes me feel really calm and peaceful. Two words that you wouldn't normally associate with me. And then I think I used Lavender Lemonade on the toe of that one, which was a colourway dyed for the sweater I was wearing, the azimuth sweater last week, dyed by Emily's sister Deborah, Candy Shop Yarns, both of whom have the Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. So that's my first pair of DK weight socks. I really like them. I suppose I'd wear them under Wellingtons, under wellies. I normally wear Dr. Martens boots, I've said to you before, and I think they're too thick to put under my DMs. But they are beautiful, and the pattern is by Helen Stewart. Okay, next one, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs to go. So altogether, including the mittens, I've done 9, which I wasn't actually, bearing in mind I had no sock mojo for most of the year. I think that's not too shabby. My Cocoon Socks. Okay, this was another pair from Christmas last year. And this was a pattern by Mina Phillip, who is Knitting Expat. And you can see this really pretty pattern. It gives a kind of a ruching effect. That's it. As with all of Mina's patterns, it's just on the front, not on the back. At the back you can see the yarn. And this is another brilliant it's blowing out actually a little bit. It's a really soft pink. It's a brilliant vintage Christmas colourway from Debbie down Sheepy Lane. So sadly you can't get this anymore. I think it was called Christmas Cheer. And they were the Cocoon Socks. I belonged to Mina's Sock Club for a year. I think it was 2018 to 2019. I'm not sure. Has anyone else lost track of the years? Anyway, these were out near Christmas and I thought that would be a really nice knit. So again, I started those last December and they were a little bit fiddly faddly and it took me a while to get those finished. Then we have slightly more recent, we have my Soul Sisters socks, which I finished probably whilst we were doing the podcast. There you go. A lot of you will be familiar with those. This gorgeous tweed sock yarn, and it's unicorn colourway from Lottie Knits. Oh goodness, I told you it was going to be one of those days. Today we had Gary's donating some retro computery stuff to a chap who's trying to get a museum going, and we had boxes of about 35 kilograms in the hall waiting to be collected. And of course he's in the office on the phone working, so you know, it fell to me. That's fine, it's life, isn't it? We never pretend that it's anything other than that in this house. So what was I saying? I was talking about these socks. Yes, much more exciting than computer parcels. Lottie Knits. Yes, now the yarn by Lottie Knits by Charlotte Walford is relevant because one of my advents this year is from Lottie Knits as well. And the pattern, of course, is by the inimitable Jules Hill and Amy Loudon, and it's got that such pretty pattern up the middle. And of course, because you've got, again, these kind of micro stripes going up, they all lead in, they take the eye. Very pleasing, as my art teacher would have said. Didn't really have an art teacher, so I made that up. But yeah, so anyway, Soul Sisters socks there. The rest are going to be a lot quicker because they're more recent. We have, of course, my Jasmine Socks, which I finished relatively recently by lovely Debs, who is Daisy Stitches on Instagram, and Debbie Ford on Ravelry. And Debbie very kindly did a giveaway, if you remember. She is designing the most amazingly beautiful patterns now, as well as bag making, and she has just started a podcast, which I think I also mentioned last week. So these are the Jasmine Socks, and this colourway was from Helen Giddy Yarns, which I also absolutely love. So that's that pair. Then, of course, we have my Wish You Were Here Shorty Socks. If you remember, I dyed the sock blank that I used for these. And again, it's got a central lace pattern down the middle. There. And I think I said at the time, this yarn was a little bit busy for such a subtle pattern, but pair of Shorty Socks there, and that pattern is by the Kitchen Sink shop on Ravelry. And then this pair, which we all know and love, is my Another Blooming Christmas colourway from Debbie. So they will be worn because they were finished before December the 1st, so I get to wear them this Christmas. So that's 1, 2, 3 new Christmas socks. Pairs of Christmas socks I've got, which is very pleasing. And then this pair, if you remember, I've knit these Shorty Socks, the Rose City rollers, and I left the toes open because these were for Joe's girlfriend Emily, and I left the toes open in case they didn't fit her. They were for Christmas as a gift. Sadly, as these things go, she's no longer on the scene. So I'm either going to keep these, I'll probably give these to Hannah for Christmas. Because they're wicked. I like these. And these were the Felici Dark Side colourway. So that was a quick tour of my socks. So yeah, well, 8 pairs of socks. I'll have the self-striping done from Helen. Strictly speaking, they will go into next year's box, but I might wear them this year because I love those so much. I have some other Christmas colourways. I have bought a lot of Christmas colourways this year. So through the year I might work on some Christmas colourway socks regardless. So 8 pairs. I am very excited. I'm going to have a go at the rainbow, I want to say Rainbow Sock Along. Rainbow Chronicles? Is it the Rainbow Chronicles? That Jules Hill, who is so sweet Violet, and Kelly Lay of Lay Family Yarn are collaborating to do a year-long Rainbow Sock Along. And it's lovely. It's such a lovely idea. And 2 lovely, lovely people. So I'm going to attempt to join in that. And January's colour is pink. Of course it is. I have no shortage of pink yarn. So I will be, and you knit a pair of socks for the 6 colours of the rainbow, although I think they're only doing 5. Did they say they're not going to do violet or violet and indigo? I'm not sure. Anyway, and then you have a few months at the end to knit whichever colour you want to fit into your Rainbow Chronicle. Anyway, I'm not going to waffle on about that because it's not my make along, but I'm going to join in. And if you want more details, hop over to probably Jules on her YouTube channel has a video explaining it. So have a little look at that. And there's going to be prizes and merchandise because we all love a nice bit of merch. Because we're all suckers for that, aren't we? Let's face it. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing next year. Now, I have received, I think I mentioned to you last week, I have 2 Yarny advent calendars, and I have started, sorry, that's Gary now talking to me in the background. Probably ignore him. I have started 2 projects with my 2 advent calendars, but I decided I wasn't going to show you today. I will wait until I've done a little bit more, and I will show you next week and talk about my lovely, lovely advent yarns. So that will be for next week. I also have the swap from Karen that in Australia that I did, that we swapped little scrappy fabric patches. I will also talk about that next week again, because I would just have overflowed this week, as I do anyway, every week. I have got a new book though. I must show you this new book. I was browsing, as you do, for craft books on Amazon for gifts for people, and I saw this and I just had to buy it. I have no idea how or what or when I will use this, but it is so cool. 3D granny squares. Just look at that rainbow and that sheep. Let's go on the back. Look on the back. How awesome is that? I had to buy it. Had to be done. I was going to see if there's any. What else have we got here? They've got a unicorn. So, teddy bear, spider, sheep, presents. Flowers. There's the unicorn. I just thought this was such a good idea. And there's a food section, an animal section. Hang on. Let me have a look. Yeah, food and drink, fruit and vegetables, animal magic, wild beasts, panda, under the sea, holidays, mini beasts, flowers, and motifs. So it's just, it's the rainbow one, I think, especially given the current circumstances of life. I don't want to show you the actual, well, you can see the rainbow anyway, I don't need to show you, but that one, wouldn't that be fabulous to put just a couple in a granny square blanket? So this is called 3D Granny Squares by Katie Moore, Shana Moore and Celine Seaman, Seman, S-E-M-A-A-N. I'll put the link, or I'll put the details in the box below, but oh my goodness, I just wanted that there when I fancy doing something a bit wacky. Right, finally, yes, let me tell you what I'm wearing. Totally back to front. This is the Flea Cardigan. Back I go. So, there you go. So you see it's got the all over pattern. Oh, and a bit of dog hair. You're very welcome. There. No, there. There. So the flea pattern across the body, and then the colourway yoke. This was a steeked pattern. And this bit is so pretty. I saw the pattern, fell in love with the pattern, and then on Ravelry I saw a lady who'd made it with similar colours, and I thought, yeah, I want to make that. So it's just called the Flea Cardigan. The designer, I'm trying to think of her name, she's known as the Flea Lady actually, but I can't think of her actual name. Again, I'll put the thing below. And I knit it in Rauma Phenol, which is one of those Scandinavian yarns that you can, you know, work up as a DK weight or work down as a fingering weight. So it's really flexible, and depending what needle size you use. Obviously, it's very woolly. It's very wool. Sorry, it's very woolly. So it's very much like Shetland wool. So it's superb for colour work and for steeking as well, because it sticks to it together, it doesn't fall apart. So that's this one, which I finished last year, but I started it. It was one that I put into hibernation for a while, halfway through. I have a couple of acquisitions I'm going to share with you. I don't always share what I buy because I'm kind of in two minds about that, because I know that, you know, I'm very blessed. I'm able to buy some yarn and sometimes buy quite expensive yarn, and I know that, you know, other people might want to but they can't, what have you. So the last thing I want to do is rub your noses in it. That said, I do like watching a podcast where they show a bit of yarn here and there, just kind of, you know, so hopefully I'll have got the balance right with this. But I bought, back when I was having an add to the cart kind of day, I ordered some skeins of yarn from America. So I don't normally buy from America, mostly because of the shipping, plus I like to try and support UK dyers. But there are a couple of dyers who've been on my bucket list for a while, and I obviously had a throw caution to the wind kind of day. And I ordered, first of all, I have ordered, and actually I've subscribed, signed up for the monthly yarn club for the Little Hippos yarn club from Lolo Did It. So from Lauren Slagle, I think her name is. And my first one arrived, and this is Hippo for Schmores. There you go, and that's her. And I'm guessing, to be honest, I haven't done schmores. I know of them, but it's got a really rich rusty red and a black on a very pale grey. And the idea is, if you don't know about her yarns, she has this pale grey theme, which is the hippo, and then there's an American tradition, a holiday story, I think. But she then dyes up on all the little holidays and Hallmark days a yarn for that. So this is a Hippo for Schmores. I think she does Hippo for Halloween, Hippo for Cinco de Mayo, Hippo for Valentine's, Hippo for Mother's Day, all those kind of things. And this is Hippo for Schmores. She did a Hippo for Netflix, which I thought was really good fun. Now, I'm not a fan of grey yarn or of grey, but I love this pale grey here. And I just think it's such a fun idea. So I just thought for a little while I'm going to treat myself and gather in a few of these special skeins. So that's really exciting. And then I went doubly mad and I ordered some of Nicole Hugh Loco's Christmas colourways. So Hugh Loco yarn, she features very muchly on the Grocery Girls podcast. And in fact, it's probably why I watched one of their podcasts last week, and I haven't watched one in probably about a year. And of course they brought, and I thought, oh, I really wanted some Hugh Loco yarn. So, and it worked out the postage was barely any different buying two than one, so you know. So I bought this set. So that's the tag, Hugh Loco, and this is her colourway called Where the Treetops Glisten. And then I got two mini skeins to go with it, and both of those pick out colours from the main skein. It is so incredibly pretty. So I love that. And then the other one I got was Yuletide, much more my normal sort of colours. So it's purples and pinks, and you can see, no, that side, pinks, there's some teal under there and green. And then she's put these amazing bright pink and bright orangey red mini skeins with it. It's so very, very pretty. Look at that blue. And this goes from a kind of a really pale baby blue to almost a very lilac-y blue down here. It's so beautiful. And it's superwash merino nylon, fingering weight, 2-ply yarn, 400 yards to 100 grams, and then you've got the two minis. So super pleased. So this was my very extravagant treat this Christmas with these yarns. Oh, that said, yes, I may have ordered two more from Amy and Jen at Dandelion and Dogwood, but I think they've come today actually. I think they might be out in the kitchen. But they were my treats. So I'm so excited to show you my Advent makes. But as I say, I haven't got that much to show you. And because I'm on a little bit of a time crunch this week, that will probably have to be all. I, again, have no idea because I've had interruptions. I don't know how long this is going to be. And I hope it made a vague amount of sense. A little bit of continuity. I am going to now sort out the prize winners for the giveaway, or for the prize for the Come Little Leaves giveaway, which is here. And I will record that and add that next. And then I will be recording a little segment chatting about our read along, which of course is A Christmas Carol. So keep watching if you're interested, if you want to know if you've won the pattern or if you are joining in our Christmas Carol read along. If not, I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of my socky makes and some of my other bits and pieces this week. I hope you have a lovely week and I will see you next time. In the meantime, here comes me with details of the prize winners. Okay, 'tis future I, 'tis future me. On to the giveaway winners. I have just done that. We had 63 people left comments with Socks Rock on the last 2 podcast comments, and I numbered them all and I asked Siri to give me a random number. So the prize is, if you remember, to win a copy of this wonderful pattern by Alice Jeffries. And the winners are, or the winner was, the first winner I pulled was number 22, post 22, which was Yvette Paxton. So Yvette, if you're watching, congratulations, you have won yourself a copy of Alice's pattern. If you would like to contact me either via Ravelry or on the email address below, I will pass it on to Alice and she will send you the pattern direct. The second winner was Pixie33. So I will write this down. Well, you'll know who you are, won't you? Hang on, let's put it down on here. Pixie, I love that. You were post number 63 and there was no... it's one of my Advent cards I'm using. So there you go. Pixie33, you have won a copy of the pattern as well. So likewise, if you can either contact me on Ravelry or you can email me directly or message me on Instagram, whichever you'd rather, then I will send your details to Alice and she will send you each a copy of the pattern. So congratulations both of you. What a fun giveaway and what a beautiful pair of socks. I shall look forward to seeing your pairs finished. We still have the Catherine Daniels ceramics giveaway going on. So if you want to win the 2 ceramic prizes I showed last week, then hop over to the Ravelry group. There is a thread there where you're asked to just tell me what would be your craft that you would really like to learn. So go and jot a sentence or 2 down for that. And next week I will be pulling prizes for the Cathy Daniels prizes. Gotta get that right. Can't quite. Oh, it's a long day already. So they're the prizes, and now let's just spend 10 minutes just chatting about the Christmas Carol read along. I need some music. Bum, 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 bum. So we were going to be reading up to the end of stave 1 or chapter 1 this week, which I did. I think many of you have, and I think some of you have actually gone on and finished the book, which is obviously totally fine. It's only a short book, but I did say I'm only going to chat a little bit about the sections each week that I suggest that we read. So next week's reading will be stave 2 or chapter 2, which is when we first see the ghosts. So we have met Marley. So far, Marley's ghost has appeared in chapter 1, and then chapter 2 is the first of the 3 other spirits. But what did you think, especially those of you who haven't read this book before, or those who haven't read it for a long time? What are your impressions? How I have spoken to Cherie, my lovely friend Cherie from Ollie and Bella, and we were chatting about it, and we were laughing about the fact that sometimes with Dickens you read a page and you think, yeah, I'm gonna have to read that again. It's quite wordy, although this is probably one of the easier books to read of Dickens. I love his sense of humour, but also he's sharp as a pin, isn't he? He really is. And the way he writes is wordy. Let's be honest, it's wordy. So if you haven't read Dickens before, it's quite possibly very different to the style of books you've been used to reading. It might not be. You might have been reading, you know, Tolstoy, Dostoevsky. But we have met Scrooge, we have met Bob Cratchit, and we have met Scrooge's nephew, Fred. And of course we have met Marley's ghost. So they are the 4 main characters thus far. What strikes me is the difference between them. So you've got Fred and Bob Cratchit, who, I don't know so much Bob Cratchit, there's a lot about Fred, and obviously regardless of Scrooge's awful miserly selfish kind of attitude, they manage to keep their joy. They keep their joy, and that's so in keeping really with what if you want to look at Christmas either as just a holiday festival or even as a Christian celebration, it's about keeping our joy, it's about finding our joy. And I think Bob Cratchit and nephew Fred really do they really do what's the word I want to say, illustrate that in what they say, how they speak. In fact, it's quite funny with the nephew, how he kind of pushes Ebenezer's buttons from time to time. I love the descriptions of Marley, and I love in here, one of my favourite things is the whole discussion about how we use the phrase dead as a doornail. I just think the first time I read this book, it tickled me that he went off on this, here we go, blah, 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 where is it? Marley's, no, that's Marley's funeral. There, in the second paragraph, I don't know of my own knowledge what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I love it. But the wisdom of our ancestors is in the simile, and my unhallowed hands shall not disturb it, or the country's done for. I just think that's brilliant. Oh, that's Henry scratching at the door. No, it's not. It's Honey scratching at the door. Let's let her in because she knows she won't go away. Come on, you have to come and talk about Dickens. Come on. You bring me in a bit of paper. Lovely. Thank you. Right, hopefully she will go and lay down now. So yes, dead as a doornail. Love it. I have started a journal. I was inspired by a couple of friends I was talking to over Instagram and messaging, and I have started a journal, but I have to say it's an Advent journal, so it wasn't meant to be, I was going to make it just about Christmas Carol, but actually because I've had some lovely Advent gifts sent through, I thought I would actually record the whole Advent this year, bits and bobs, my yarn Advents, letters, cards, notes and things, as well as the Dickens read along. And one of the things I've done, I put the first page up, which I will show you again. So, and this is just in a book, scrapbook I found when I was clearing out. So that was my opening page. And then what I did, I printed off in the Ravelry Group. If you haven't been across there, people have been posting pictures of the copies of the book that they are reading from, and I think it's fascinating. So I printed them off, and I've actually now got them in my scrapbook. So I'm going to keep that as people are posting copies, pictures of their copies. I'm going to add them because I think it shows just how varied these images can be. This one I've seen. This is I think the Penguin Classics cloth bound one. I'm pretty sure that one. This one there, Teresa found, is a picture of the first edition, and then as a contrast we have this one, which is kind of the front page or the first page. Oh, sorry, I'm not, of Google Books. So it goes from, you know, the sublime to the ridiculous. So I pop those in there, and I will continue to do that. So if you are able to go into Ravelry and into the chatter thread and put a picture of your book, I would love that. I've got a couple off Instagram I pulled as well, actually. That's my Adventy stuff, which I will tell about. And I have just started today. I've just started scrapbooking about stave 1. And this side, sorry, this side is going to be about Scrooge. And this side, as you can see already, you can guess, this is going to be about Fred and Bob Cratchit. And just, I'm going to do a comparison of quotes. And over in the Ravelry group, if you've been there, you'll see that one of the ladies, very well read, brought up the 18th century, 19th century, I need to check it out, economist come philosopher Thomas Malthus, who was the founder of something called Malthusian economics, which links directly with Scrooge. If the poor can't afford to stay alive, then let them die. You know, that's basically what Malthus said in a nutshell. I will look it up more and talk about it another time. But and of course the same, when the two collectors come to the door to collect for charity and the poor, Scrooge is like, well, let them die. It will solve the surplus population problem. And that is a great link to something that was very relevant at the time, which was the Malthusian economics. So the more I'm reading this, and remember, this is like probably the third or fourth time I've read this, and I'm not consciously digging a lot deeper into it, but I'm now looking at the broader picture, and especially I'm learning some bits about Dickens. There's some links being put up in the Ravelry group again of some articles you can read or some videos you can watch. There's one of Simon Callow walking around London talking about where Dickens lived. In fact, he wrote a biography of Dickens, which I didn't know, and I think I might have to get hold of a copy to read that in the new year to go along with my Dickens of a year next year. So I think just understanding a bit about the writer as well. It was a social commentary and a political commentary as much as anything else. As much as being a wonderful story, it's a story of redemption. So it's amazing. I could go on about this forever, but I'm not an English literature teacher. But I just want to encourage you to, as well as reading it and simply, you know, reading it as a story and reading the text and appreciating it, I think if we can just look at maybe the bigger picture, I think there's a lot to be learned that we can apply to today, especially with all the inequalities we have around today, but also just our attitude. And one of the she's not a pastor, she teaches Bible, Joyce Meyer. One of the things she says in one of her books that I've read is that your attitude will govern your altitude. So if you have a good attitude, you're going to feel higher and happier and jollier. If you have a bad attitude, then your altitude is going to be low and you're going to feel miserable. And relates here, doesn't it? Bob Cratchit had such poor circumstances. Obviously we haven't read that much about him yet, but you know, he had one piece of coal to last the day. Whereas Scrooge was all lovely and warm and fine, Bob Cratchit had to sit there with one candle, and yet he was cheerful. He had a good attitude. So so much to be learnt from this, so much. What was the other thing? I did write a couple of other things down, but I've probably run out of time, haven't I, for now? if you find a quote that you particularly like from in here, as we're reading along, do either pop it on Instagram or in the Ravelry group or even down below, and I can pick them out and read them next week. That would be great. Or if there's something that strikes you about it, or you know, anything you want to chat about, let's really chat and enjoy this book together. I think it will be great. Oh, I got myself all excited. Right, I really am going to go now. I have to get lunch now for the husband and for my daughter, her little birthday lunch, before my in-laws pop round to have an outside visit, because we are in Tier 2, for those of you who are interested. I think most of the UK is in Tier 2 actually, unless you're living in Cornwall, and lucky you if you are. And Gary has got another treatment tomorrow, another infusion, so thank you again for all your well wishes and prayers for his treatment. Tomorrow sees another one, and then it's wait and see what happens. They start decreasing his other medications to see whether this one can take over, which is a lot more user friendly than some of the other medications he's on, let's put it that way. So I am wishing you a lovely week ahead. I hope you have a wonderful first week of the Advent season. I wish blessings upon you all. Keep cheerful, especially keep cheerful. Let's have a really high altitude this week with a good attitude. Very many thanks for watching and putting up with this rather pickled, jumbled episode, and I will look forward to seeing you all next week.